to a kaleidoscope.
Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News or India's Voice to the World. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds bilateral talks with Oman Sultan Haitham bin Tariq. Talks expected to boost India-Oman strategic partnership. DD India brings you wrap-up update from COP28. The summit resulted in a landmark text known as the UAE Consensus. India women's team beating England to set a new record for the biggest win by run margin in the history of women's test. Big honours for India's tennis legends Leander Paes and Vijay Amritraj. Duo has become the first Asian to be inducted into International Tennis Hall of Fame. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday held bilateral talks with Oman Sultan Haitham bin Tariq in New Delhi to boost India-Oman strategic partnership. Both the leaders held talk on the areas of mutual interest. The diplomatic relations between the two countries were established in 1955. Currently, both the countries share a long-standing friendship rooted in historical, cultural and economic ties. This is the first visit to India by Oman Sultan in nearly 25 years. Earlier today, the Sultan of Oman was accorded a ceremonial reception at the forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Draupadi Murmu received the Sultan at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Sultan Haitham bin Tariq was accorded with Guard of Honor by the Combined Defence Services. The Sultan arrived in India at the invitation of President Murmu. At the bilateral talks, India's Prime Minister Modi said that India-Oman was adopting a new joint vision for future. He stressed that the joint vision would enhance the partnership between the two countries.
आज हम एक नए इंडिया-ओमान जॉइंट विजन ऑफ पार्टनरशिप फॉर फ्यूचर को एडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं। इस जॉइंट विजन में 10 विभिन्न क्षेत्रों पर ठोस एक्शन पॉइंट्स पर सहमति बनी है। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि जॉइंट विजन हमारी साझेदारी को एक नया और आधुनिक स्वरूप देगा। मुझे खुशी है पक्षों के बीच सीपा एग्रीमेंट पर चर्चा जारी है। इस वार्ता के 2 राउंड सफलतापूर्वक संपन्न किए जा चुके हैं, जिसमें कई महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दों पर सहमति बन चुकी है। मैं आशा करता हूं कि हम जल्द ही इस एग्रीमेंट को साइन कर पाएंगे, जिससे हमारे आर्थिक सहयोग में एक नए अध्याय का जुड़ना हो जाएगा।
PM Modi talked about the vibrant India-Oman relations as well.
सदियों से भारत और ओमान गहरी मित्रता के अटूट संबंध रहे हैं। अरब सागर के एक छोर पर भारत है तो दूसरे छोर पर ओमान है। हमारी आपसी निकटता केवल भूगोल तक सीमित नहीं है, बल्कि ये हमारे हजारों वर्षों से चले रहे व्यापार और संस्कृति और हमारी समान प्राथमिकताओं से भी झलकती है। इस यशस्वी इतिहास के बलबूते पर हम एक उज्जवल भविष्य की संरचना कर रहे हैं।
India's Foreign Secretary Vinay Quatra briefed the media on Oman Sultan Haitham bin Tariq's India visit and said that both countries signed MOU in information and technology, culture, combating financial crime, Hindi chair ICCR in Oman.
Both countries had also signed MOU, including in the field of information technology, cooperation in the field of culture, combating financial crimes, and of course establishment of a Hindi chair of ICCR in Oman. Secondly, again an area which featured very prominently in the discussions between the two leaders, was ongoing discussions between the two countries for a comprehensive economic partnership agreement.
India's Foreign Secretary Vinay Quatra said that India shares a special relationship with Oman today, and the relationship evolved into strategic partnership.
Significant achievement in terms of India-Oman trade and capital cooperation was the announcement of the third tranche of the Oman-India Joint Investment Fund. This fund would be worth $300 million, approximately 2,500 crores. Purely as a point of elaboration, the fund was established as a 50-50 joint venture between the State Bank of India and the Oman Investment Authority, which essentially channelizes investments into the fastest growing sectors of the Indian economy.
All right, and DD India correspondent Amritpal Singh joins us on the phone line. Amritpal, can you provide insights into the key factors that contributed to the evolution of the India-Oman relationship into a strategic partnership? Amritpal, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes.
Yeah, can you provide insights into the key factors that contributed to the evolution of India-Oman relationship into a strategic partnership, Amrit?
Well, today, strategic partnership, they have a strategic partnership because given their relationship in all fields ranging from a very robust defense relationship to investment and trade. There is about $12.5 billion of trade, which is a quantum jump considered over the past couple of years, almost doubled. There is a large expatriate population, about 700,000 or 7 lakhs working inside Oman. There are a lot of remittances. There is a lot of, exchange between the two sides in terms of foreign direct investment. India is the third largest trading partner. So given all that, ranging from areas from infrastructure to energy security, especially green energy, green hydrogen, to textiles, to pharmaceuticals, to companies, about 6,000 joint ventures between the two sides. So it is really a wide-ranging relationship that the two sides have. But let me focus on what transpired today, Siddharth. Today, basically, the talks focused, the key focus was the key outcomes was a joint vision document that the two sides have come out with after the talks, which incorporates, a wide canvas, which includes maritime cooperation in the space of maritime, space, digital payments, health, tourism, disaster management, agriculture and food security, counterterrorism, energy cooperation, particularly green energy and green hydrogen, and people-to-people connect, and using cricket as a part of robust diplomacy between the two sides. So this is what transpired when the Sultan and the Prime Minister met on one-on-one talks, and later which were followed by delegation-level talks between the two sides. As you know, the Sultan is carrying is accompanied by a huge delegation, which includes many of his senior ministers, his two deputy prime ministers, his defense minister, senior officials of the government representing various departments. So it was indeed a they were wide-ranging talks with significant outcomes.
Okay. Amrit, were any specific areas of collaboration or joint initiatives mentioned during the briefing?
I told you about that. Maritime cooperation, space, digital payments, health, tourism, disaster management, agriculture, food insecurity, counter-terrorism, energy cooperation, cricket. Apart from the strategic relationship, and also a substantial part of the talks focused on the crisis brewing in West Asia, namely the Israel-Hamas crisis or conflict, which the two sides shared perspectives on. So that.
All right, on that note, thank you so much, Amrit, for joining in. Kuwait's ruling emir, the 86-year-old Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmad Al Sabah, has died. According to the royal court, Emir died just over 3 years after assuming power in the US allied Gulf oil producer. The cause of his death was not immediately disclosed. Earlier, Emir was admitted to hospital due to what the state emergency health problem. India celebrates Vijay Diwas today, commemorating the victory of the Indian Armed Forces in Operation Vijay against Pakistan in the 1971 war, paying tribute to the brave hearts. Indian President Draupadi Murmu posted on social media, and I quote, "The nation remembers with gratitude the selfless sacrifice made by our armed forces during the 1971 war. On Vijay Diwas, I pay homage to the brave hearts who displayed unparalleled courage and achieved historic victory." Prime Minister Narendra Modi too paid homage to the brave hearts. In a social media post, he said, and I quote, "Today, on Vijay Diwas, we pay heartfelt tributes to all the brave heroes who dutifully served India in 1971, ensuring a decisive victory. Their valor and dedication remain a source of immense pride for the nation. Their sacrifices and unwavering spirit will forever be etched in the people's hearts and our nation's history. India salutes their courage and remembers their indomitable spirit." India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, along with CDS General Anil Chauhan, Armed Chief General Manoj Pandey, Navy Chief Admiral R. Hari Kumar, and IAF Vice Chief Air Marshal Amarpreet Singh laid a wreath at the National War Memorial on the occasion of Vijay Diwas. General Officer Commanding Dakshin Bharat Area of Indian Army, Lieutenant General K.S. Brar, other senior military officials and veterans laid wreaths and paid respects to the fallen heroes of our nation on 52nd anniversary of India's victory in 1971 Indo-Pak War. Marking the day, Vijay Diwas was celebrated in Indian state of West Bengal on Saturday. The celebrations took place at Vijay Smarak in Eastern Command Army Headquarters in Kolkata. Meanwhile, Bangladesh is celebrating its 53rd Victory Day, known as Bijoy Divas, to mark the liberation from Pakistan in 1971 on Saturday. On this day in 1971, the Pakistani armed forces, led by General A.A.K. Niazi, surrendered before the Indian Army and the Mukti Bahini Liberation Force of Bangladesh, with over 90,000 of its troops, which ended the 9-month-long struggle of the people of Bangladesh. Bangladesh President Mohammad Shahabuddin and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on Saturday paid tributes to the martyrs of the 1971 Liberation War by placing wreaths at the National Memorial in Savar on the outskirts of Dhaka, marking the 53rd Victory Day. And still to come on DD India News Hour. India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal launches Logistics Ease Across Different States 2023 report. We bring you the wrap-up update from the recently concluded COP28. A powerful solar flare erupted from the sun, and scientists say is the most significant solar flare occurrence since 2017. Stay with us to know more.
Were these people so disturbed and overcome by circumstances as is being claimed? Did they become useful tools or convenient tools in the hands of people?
Yes, you say that there is a political messaging, but a political messaging or any kind of social messaging can very well be done only through pamphlets.
That's a dichotomous situation where you have a high-profile institution which also is high profile in the sense that normal citizens want access to it on a daily basis.
That's very important that every part of that security layer, they should be trained, they should be briefed properly, and they should know what is their exact duties there.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal launches Logistics Ease Across Different States 2023 report, which can enhance performance of logistics across various states and union territories. DD India correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya has more details.
Unlocking the potential of a Viksit Bharat, India envisions a remarkable $32 trillion GDP by 2047. Enter Leads 2023, the Logistics Ease Across Different States initiative, a game changer in the nation's growth narrative. It has made substantial improvements in assessing and enhancing the performance of logistics across various states and union territories.
Logistics sector will be a cornerstone in our endeavor to take India to a 10x level from 3.5 trillion to 35 trillion by 2047. India stands out as a bright star. India stands out as a country which under Prime Minister Modi's leadership has deftly managed the economy very well. We have become the fastest growing large economy consistently for some years now and expected to continue to be so.
This platform serves as a valuable resource, providing actionable insights to states' UTs for strategic decision-making, thereby promoting a competitive federalism model in logistics development across the nation.
This Leads Report 2023, it's the 5th edition, will significantly give us the pathway to further invigorize this sector, make it more, help it to contribute to a better sector in the days ahead. These reports are encouraging the states also and other stakeholders to see how they can improve their processes, how they can contribute to a better future of the logistics sector.
Leads 2023 report grouped states' UTs into groups based on their geography: coastal, landlocked, northeast and union territories, and further categorized them into achievers, fast movers and aspirers depending on their logistical performance across 3 pillars: quality of logistics services and operating and regulatory environment. The Leads 2023 report lauds India's strides in infrastructure and propel India's logistics sector into a game-changing sector.
The 5th edition of the Leads report is expected to change the gamut of logistic ecosystem in the country. It is expected that India will become a developed nation by 2047 and its GDP will touch the 32 trillion mark, and this report is expected to play a pivotal role in that. With camera person Kumar Dutta, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
The culmination of COP28 on Friday in Dubai resulted in a landmark text known as the UAE Consensus, agreed upon by 198 parties. We bring you the wrap-up update from the recently concluded COP28, where history has been made, launching the world into a new era of climate action.
The culmination of COP28 stands as a historic milestone as 198 parties unite under the UAE Consensus, a landmark text that outlines an ambitious climate agenda. The goal, keeping the global temperature rise within the critical threshold of 1.5 degrees Celsius. Let's delve into the key highlights of the UAE Consensus. COP28 didn't just end with rhetoric, but presented specific targets for renewable and energy efficiency by 2030. Under its action agenda, the COP28 presidency took bold steps across the 4 pillars of the Paris Agreement, focusing on a just energy transition, climate finance, reform, people and nature, and full inclusivity in climate action. COP28 showcased an unparalleled commitment to funding climate action, mobilizing over $85 billion. Notable achievements include agreements on loss and damage, advancements in the global goal on adaptation, and breakthroughs in the energy transition. This COP was hailed as the most inclusive, ensuring active participation from civil society, youth, and indigenous peoples in the decision-making process. Beyond negotiated text, COP28 delivered historic outcomes, operationalizing loss and damage, providing a framework for the global goal on adaptation, and institutionalizing the role of the youth climate champion. COP28 successfully mobilized over $83 billion, marking a new era of financial commitment to address climate challenges. A total of 11 pledges and declarations were launched, receiving unprecedented support from the international community. On the inaugural day of COP28, a historic agreement was reached to operationalize and capitalize funding for loss and damage, with an impressive $792 million already pledged. Key endorsements and declarations cover a range of critical areas, including renewables, agriculture, health, and more, with overwhelming support from nations and organizations. Financial pledges and contributions span various sectors from loss and damage to Green Climate Fund, Adaptation Fund, and beyond, showcasing a robust commitment to addressing climate challenges. The outcomes of COP28 signal a turning point in global efforts to combat climate change.
India's Union Minister of Railways, Ashwini Vaishnav, bestowed the prestigious Ati Vishisht Rail Seva Puraskar at Bharat Mandapam in Delhi. The 100 Indian Railway employees from diverse zones were awarded for their remarkable contributions and outstanding services. The minister also presented 21 shields to commend efforts in promoting best practices among railway employees. Vaishnav asserted that the railways are fulfilling people's expectations, and under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership, the sector is experiencing a golden period. Minister also pointed out that in the last 9.5 years, as much railway electrification has been accomplished as in the preceding 40 years.
किस तरह से रेलवे का एकदम पूरी तरह से ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन का प्रोसेस चल रहा है, जिस तेजी से आप लोग काम कर रहे हो, जिस तेजी से मोदी जी के, प्रधानमंत्री जी के विजन को आप इंप्लीमेंट कर रहे हो, वो आज दुनिया में मिसाल बन चुका है। एक के बाद एक आंकड़े रखे जा सकते हैं। 9.5 साल में इतना रेलवे इलेक्ट्रिफिकेशन किया है जो कि उससे पहले के 40 वर्षों में नहीं हुआ था।
Japan is providing Malaysia with an extra $3 million in security assistance as the two countries met on the sidelines of ASEAN summit in Tokyo. The bloc and Japan are commemorating 50 years of cooperation with a 3-day meeting aimed at agreeing on a new vision for the future of the Asia-Pacific. Chris Gilbert has more from Tokyo.
Well, there is the expectation that on the last day of the summit there's going to be a joint declaration from the ASEAN members as well as Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, but the summit is producing announceables already. The Prime Minister has had a flurry of bilateral meetings throughout the day with a chunk of ASEAN member countries, but most interestingly, the meeting with Malaysia resulted in a signing ceremony where Japan is providing about another $3 million in OSA, that's official security assistance, which is a grant program set up earlier in 2023, where Japan is effectively providing this money, which is specifically for the benefit of the armed forces in Malaysia to effectively boost their ability to enhance their security, in this case their surveillance and warning systems. There was also a meeting between Fumio Kishida, the Prime Minister, and the King of Brunei, and there was a conversation in that meeting about the rule of law and the maritime zones around Brunei. Now, those two are significant because they, along with Vietnam and the Philippines, are the two countries which are directly experiencing the consequences of China's military assertiveness in the South China Sea and in the Taiwan Strait area, the physical expansion of China into these maritime areas, and we've seen in just the last week or two how that can manifest with Philippine Coast Guard and the Chinese Coast Guard having a very physical interaction. And we've also seen the leaders leaders of the United States and China both visit Vietnam recently to try and boost ties with that country. So there is a lot of competition for these countries. And here we have Japan stepping in with things like the OSA and an extra $3 million of security for Malaysia. Day 2 is a day of talks, group talks amongst ASEAN countries and Japan and the Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and the Foreign Minister Kamikawa. Day 3 is going to be the ASEC talks. It's the Asia Zero Emissions Community, so it'll be a focus on energy transition, and we're also expecting, again, that joint statement and an implementation plan to realize a new vision for the future is what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is pitching based on person-to-person interactions, peace and stability and new communities and new economies. And experts here are saying that this is a pivotal moment for Japan, perhaps even more than a G7, to prove itself as a leader of Asia-Pacific countries. Chris Gilbert in Tokyo reporting for DD India.
Venezuela and Guyana have signed a non-aggression agreement amid tension between the two countries. The neighboring states both claim the disputed and oil-producing region of Essequibo. However, key issues of the dispute, such as the extraction of resources in the region, were not addressed. DD India's correspondent Mary Trini Mena has more details.
Venezuela and Guyana have agreed not to use force or threaten each other as concerns over the disputed Essequibo region grow. After a meeting hosted by the Caribbean nation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and Guyana's President Mohamed Irfan Ali met for talks. The gathering was promoted by neighboring countries such as Brazil, the prime ministers of several Caribbean states, and 2 observers from the United Nations, as part of efforts to avoid a military confrontation between the two countries. This border dispute goes back to the late 1800s, when Guyana demarcated its territory. The former British colony has a large Indo-Guyanese community, and Hinduism is the second biggest religion. Venezuela argued Guyana illegally expanded its border and took land that belonged to Venezuela. Since then, Caracas has been claiming the territory over which Guyana has administrative control. But tensions began to rise almost a decade ago, when large deposits of oil were found in the disputed area. Earlier this month, Venezuela held a referendum to claim the right to that land. Venezuelan officials reported full public support for the initiative. President Nicolas Maduro presented a new Venezuelan map adding the Essequibo region and ordered state companies to exploit oil and gas there. Guyana is challenging the move by its neighbor. The Essequibo is a vast territory, mostly an isolated jungle larger than Greece. Foreign ministers from both countries and other officials created a joint commission to work on resolving the dispute. The two countries agreed to another meeting in Brazil in March. Mary Trini Mena in Caracas, reporting for DD India.
Let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. A jury on Friday ordered former U.S. President Trump's lawyer to pay $148 million for defaming Georgia poll workers. The verdict stated that he defamed the workers with his false claims they engaged in 2020 election fraud. The damages include roughly $73 million for reputational and emotional harm and $75 million as punitive damages for his conduct. A powerful solar flare erupted from the sun on Thursday, which scientists say is the most significant solar flare occurrence since 2017. The eruption originated from the far northwest section of the sun, captured by NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory using extreme ultraviolet light. A teenager from Britain disappearing 6 years ago was found in southern France after disappearing. England police said they were working with French authorities to bring the British teenager, namely Batty, back home. Blizzards of cold lashes China's Shanghai, spurring the authorities to halt train services, shut schools in the region. Residents of Shanghai braced for the cold on Saturday as temperatures dipped to 2 degrees Celsius. Local authorities of Shanghai have issued a blue cold alert as precaution. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra reaches Jammu and Kashmir's Doda with a vibrant program at the Community Hall Doda in Municipal Council Doda. India's tourism and travel industry, known for its rich cultural heritage and diverse landscapes, attracts millions of visitors globally. Ukraine-Russia counter-offensives continue ahead of the critical cold months of winter.
We are taking a close look at the profession of diplomacy, the way it has evolved, the Indian Foreign Service, which is the crux of Indian diplomacy, and the changes that we have seen in the Indian Foreign Service over the decades, the challenges that lie ahead for the Indian Foreign Service, and what it is to be a Foreign Service officer.
This is a historic moment for India. And the Foreign Service, the diplomats of today have the great opportunity to take forward the dream, to help realize the dream of a Shresth Bharat, Mahan Bharat, and India's move from a major power to a great power.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj, and a quick recap of headlines now. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds bilateral talks with Oman Sultan Haitham bin Tariq. Talks expected to boost India-Oman strategic partnership. India women's team beating England to set a new record for the biggest win by run margin in the history of women's test. Big honours for India's tennis legends Leander Paes and Vijay Amritraj. Duo has become the first Asian to be inducted into International Tennis Hall of Fame. Ukraine-Russia counter-offensives continue ahead of the critical cold months of winter. Ukraine claimed to shoot down 30 out of 31 Russian drones over 11 regions across the country on Saturday. A series of explosions resounded throughout Kyiv, marking it the 6th air attack on capital since the beginning of this month. However, no casualties and no major damage reported. A series of explosions resounded throughout the Ukraine capital Kyiv early on Saturday as air defense units engaged Russian drones. Explosions were reported on both banks of the Dnipro River that runs through the city. There were no immediate reports of casualties or serious damage. A new series of explosions hit areas near Kyiv's central districts. Witnesses said air raid sirens went off on the eastern bank of the Dnipro River, but on the western bank, police warned residents of the air raid through loudspeakers. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that the upcoming presidential elections in the country must be competitive and must be held in full compliance with Russian laws. Noting any foreign interference in the election will be suppressed harshly, the president made this remark at the meeting with heads of parliamentary parties on Friday.
Everything must happen on a competitive basis and in full compliance with the laws of Russian Federation. Any interference in the internal affairs of Russia will be suppressed harshly in accordance with the laws of Russia. We will defend the freedom of our people, their sovereignty and the right to choose their future. It is the people and only the people of Russia who are the only source of power in our country. During the upcoming election campaign, all political parties and factions will one way or other determine their position.
And the European Union has failed to agree on a more than $50 billion package for assistance for Ukraine at a two-day meeting in Brussels. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has so far refused to lift his veto, but leaders are confident a deal is within reach. DD India's Alex Kadia reports from Brussels.
Ukraine will have to wait at least a few more weeks to receive more than $50 billion worth of European support. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban refused to lift his country's veto on the new aid package as part of a broader negotiations over the EU's budget. But leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron, are confident that a deal is within reach, meaning they'll get back around the table here in January or early February to try and finalize an agreement. While Ukraine waits for that outcome, it also celebrates the decision by EU leaders to open its membership negotiations, a long process Kyiv has been eager to start. The negotiations are a 38-stage journey of reform and alignment with the European Union, one that could take a decade. Nevertheless, the European Commission's president says the move sends a clear message.
In a world that is shaken by multiple crises, it's an investment in stability, it's an investment in security of our continent, but of course it's also an investment in prosperity for our continent, and it's a big investment in democracies.
The EU's 27 heads of state also discussed the conflict in the Middle East, with a majority of member states wanting the bloc to call for a ceasefire. They discussed that and potential sanctions against Hamas and Israeli settlers in the West Bank, but stopped short of making any decisions or formal announcements. It's been a long and at times tense meeting of the EU's 27 leaders. They leave Brussels with more work to do on aid for Kyiv and their position on the war in Gaza, but also in the knowledge that Ukraine is one step closer to European Union membership. Alex Cadye in Brussels reporting for DD India.
Finland, the newest member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is about to sign a new bilateral defense pact with the United States. It comes as Finland again closes its border with Russia, accusing the Kremlin of orchestrating an influx of asylum seekers from Africa, the Middle East and Asia in response to the defense deal with Washington. DD India's correspondent from Washington, Caroline Malone, reports for more updates.
The defence agreement is due to be signed between Finland and the United States on Monday. It still needs to be approved by Finnish lawmakers, but it does include provisions for American soldiers to access 15 military areas and facilities, but not have permanent bases across Finland. That's a country that shares a 1,300-kilometre border with Russia. Well, Helsinki has actually closed that border again after more than 300 asylum seekers from places that include Somalia, Kenya and Pakistan entered from Russia over 2 days this week. They see that the flow is being orchestrated by Moscow as a retaliation for the US defense deal, but the Kremlin denies that. Finland joined NATO in April because of Russia's assault on Ukraine after decades of non-alignment. Other countries continue to stay neutral in relations towards Russia and Ukraine. But for Finland, that's right on the border, the conflict is too close and it's too critical not to take a stance and align, in this case with the United States, particularly on its defence deal. Caroline Malone in Washington for DD India.
Indian Navy's warship and maritime patrol aircraft responded swiftly to a hijacking incident in the Arabian Sea. A Malta-flagged vessel with 18 crew members on board had sent a Mayday message on 14th of December, indicating boarding by nearly 6 unknown personnel. The Navy diverted its maritime patrol aircraft undertaking surveillance in the area and its warship on anti-piracy patrol in the Gulf Aden to locate and assist the vessel. The aircraft has been continuously monitoring movement of the vessel, which is now heading towards the coast of Somalia. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with the beneficiaries of the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra today. Prime Minister will also address the gathering on the occasion. Thousands of beneficiaries from across the country will join the event. During the program, the Prime Minister will flag off the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Telangana and Mizoram. The Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra reached Jammu and Kashmir's Doda with a vibrant program at the Community Hall Doda in Municipal Council Doda. The event, graced by Chief Guest Deputy Commissioner Doda Harvinder Singh, along with a galaxy of officers from various departments, witnessed the distribution of Ujjwala gas connections, sanctioning of loans under PM Swanidhi scheme, financial assistance to the beneficiaries under PM AYU, and a renewed spirit of development in the community. India's tourism and travel industry, known for its rich cultural heritage and diverse landscapes, attracts millions of visitors globally. The sector continues to thrive with strategic investments, envisioning substantial growth and modernization. Jessica Taneja has the details.
From the captivating fusion of diverse landscapes and rich cultural experiences to a vibrant culinary scene coupled with warm hospitality, India has become a compelling and immersive choice for discerning travelers across the world. This year, India welcomed over 6.43 million foreign tourists, further bolstering the nation's third largest foreign exchange earning sector. Now the world's fast-growing aviation market is prepped to facilitate smooth travel for passengers by expanding its airport facilities and also ensuring smooth check-in through its travel app, the Digi Yatra.
The Digi Yatra app has been used by passengers to either arrive at particular airports and board planes. In the next phase, which is in calendar year 2024, we are going to take up first 14 more airports that we are adding on to Digi Yatra. And in the second phase, 11 more airports, so a total of 25 more airports in calendar year 2024.
After experiencing brief disruptions triggered by the pandemic, India's tourism sector is poised to evolve into a $1 trillion industry by 2047. With India opening its doors by allowing 100% FDI for tourism construction projects, the government is leaving no stone unturned in transforming India into a world-class connecting hub and a sought-after destination for both tourists and businesses. Poised for substantial growth, the tourism sector stands to benefit from the government initiatives in airport construction, backed by an $11.9 billion investment, ensuring improved infrastructure and connectivity in the future. Jessica Taneja for DD India.
Well, let's take a look at other stories making news. Indian Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Bhajan Lal Sharma, pays homage to martyrs at Amar Jawan Jyoti on Vijay Divas. In India's national capital, New Delhi, temperatures drop for a few days now as cool winds course rapidly through the city. The city's daytime temperatures, which so far have remained pleasant, will likely get even lower in the coming days. The India Meteorological Department said weather conditions are unlikely to change over the next few days and that this will allow northwesterly winds to cocoon the capital. It is just one day to go for the second edition of Kashi Tamil Sangamam, an event which brought together the vibrant cultures of Kashi and Tamil Nadu, strengthening the spirit of Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat, marking a journey of shared connections, honoring the rich heritage of Indian civilization. And students from various schools and college came together to form a human chain spanning 15 kilometers here in the Indian state of Gujarat. The students, adorned with a tricolour band, made a picturesque scene along the route. The chain was made to send the message of green city, clean city and safe city. IIT Madras Director Professor V. Kamakoti speaks on Kashi Tamil Sangamam. Let's listen in.
Kashi Tamil Sangamam 2.0 is going to start very soon, and I am with IIT Madras Director Professor Kamakoti ji. Sir, what is new in this Kashi Tamil Sangamam?
So Kashi Tamil Sangamam 1.0 was a great learning for all of us. It was looking under the Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat. This program was conceived. It was brainchild of our beloved Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji, and what we learned there, we sent around 12 batches of people from Tamil Nadu actually visited Kashi. They understood what's the connect between Tamil Nadu and Kashi, and this was a very enriching experience for people who travel as a part of Kashi Tamil Sangamam 1.0.
What is new for the in education field for the concerned people? So is there any kind of operation going on where you're going to engage the talent from the concerned place?
Initiative number one, IIT Madras has been establishing rural interaction centers where we go to the villages, establish a television set and some amount of compute facility and a camera and an internet connection, and volunteers interact with those students between 6 to 8 p.m. every day on some of the topics related to the school. They encourage them to basically, take up higher studies. The second important initiative, there is the Sankara Eye Mission based out of Coimbatore. They are establishing an hospital, Junjunwala Hospital, in Varanasi, which will serve up to 30,000 free surgeries every year for people in and around Varanasi.
So it's not only the sangamam of two cultures, it is a sangamam of education, the opportunity of between two states, what is available, and how we can create employment and how we can facilitate the ideas for startup who are there, and investment, angel investment. With the camera person Arun, Ritesh Ranjan, DD News Chennai.
And still to come on DD India News Hour. India women's team have annihilated England to set a new record for the biggest win by a run margin in the history of women's test. Big honours for India's tennis legends Leander Paes and Vijay Amrit Raj. The duo has become the first Asian to be inducted into International Tennis Hall of Fame.
Were these people so disturbed and overcome by circumstances as is being claimed? Did they become useful tools or convenient tools in the hands of people?
Yes, you say that there is a political messaging, but the political messaging or any kind of social messaging can very well be done only through pamphlets.
That's a dichotomous situation where you have a high-profile institution which also is high profile in the sense that normal citizens want access to it on a daily basis.
That's very important that every part of that security layer, they should be trained, they should be briefed properly, and they should know what is their exact duties there.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj, and time now for sport. High Performance Director of Archery Association of India, Sanjeeva Kumar Singh, lauds Prime Minister Narendra Modi for changing the sporting landscape in the country. DD India correspondent Narayan Singh catches up with Kumar and gold medal winner Sheetal Devi to know about their aims for Paralympics in 2024 and other international events.
A fantastic performance by our para-archer at the inaugural edition of the Khelo India Para Games. And right now I'm joined by the High Performance Director of the All India Archery Association and our gold medal winner, Sheetal Devi. A very warm welcome to both of you, sir. So a great platform, this Khelo India Para Game. So how you look this platform for the young athletes?
See, I think so what Modi ji has in mind that we want to become the sporting power in the 28 and 32 Olympics. Now that can only happen if we give chances to these young archers like Sheetal to perform in the same atmosphere. So what you see here is exactly a replica of what happens in an international meet. They are performing in this international meet. Their courage will go up, their confidence will go up, and such tournaments of Khelo India will help India to achieve that laurels in the Paris Olympic and the Paris Paralympics.
So here you are also joined by Sheetal. Sheetal, किस तरह से देखते हैं आप जिस तरह से ये खेलो इंडिया का मंच मिला है, कितना मदद मिलता है आपको इस तरह से?
पहली बार खेलो इंडिया हुआ है तो मेरे जैसे बच्चों ने और भी पार्टिसिपेट किया तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा, मुझे यहाँ पे जीत कर भी बहुत अच्छा लगा।
आपको कहाँ से प्रेरणा मिलती है सब गोल्ड मेडल जीतने की, इतना अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस करने की?
मेरे कोचेस से, मेरे कोच कुलदीप वैद्वान और मैम अभिलाषा चौधरी जो मुझे आर्चरी सिखाते हैं और वही motivate कर रहे हैं.
The way, as you said, the PM Modi encourages our athletes. How important is that for our athletes?
See, this is very, very important. You know, after the Para-Asian Games, after the even the Asian Games, Modi ji came personally to meet all the archers and the coaches and the support staff who had won the medal. Now, that is the biggest inspiration because he's the #1 person in the country and he's coming and thereafter the President of India also invited us. So that is a great thing. That encouragement motivates much more than the cash awards or any other thing because himself is trying to push sports to a different level.
Overall, if you take a look at the archery's performance especially the compound archery, the way they performed in the Asian Games and the Asian Championships. Wonderful. Also, they have booked the quota for the Paralympics in Paris. So what's your strategy, how you prepare the athletes for such mega tournaments?
We are importing equipment from abroad so that there's no dearth of equipment. Clearly, we are getting all foreign experts to come in wherever there are weak areas to work on it. So overall, I think so in a nutshell, the whole country is working along with the SAI, AI as a teamwork, and that is in order to, the dream of what Modi ji has is making India into a true superpower by becoming in the top 10 countries in 28 and 32. That is going to happen.
PSUs, the private stakeholders are coming together, and that's why we are witnessing a record number of medal hauls by our athletes at the international level also. With camera person Gaurav Giri, Narayan Singh, DD India, Delhi.
And from Khelo India Para Games 2023, let's shift our focus to cricket now, where India women's team beat England to set a new record for the biggest win by run margin in the history of women's test. India made 428 runs after opting to bat first. Deepti Sharma then took a 5-wicket haul in quick time to skittle England out for a mere 136 in 35.3 overs. India did not enforce the follow-on and declared their second dig at 186 for the loss of 6 wickets, setting a 478 runs target for England to win. Indian pacers led the early blows with Pooja Vastrakar taking 3 wickets before Deepti Sharma added 4 more wickets to her kitty as England were bowled out for 131. Multiple changes in India's squad against South Africa for tests and ODIs. Fast bowler Deepak Chahar has withdrawn from the ODIs due to family medical emergency, while Mohammad Shami has been ruled out from tests due to injury. The BCCI said that Akash Deep has replaced Chahar in the one-day international squad. The ODI series begins on Sunday. Pacer Mohammad Shami failed to regain fitness on time and has been ruled out from the 2-match test series against South Africa starting December 26. After the conclusion of the first ODI, batter Shreyas Iyer will join the test squad to prepare for the test series. Big honours for India's tennis legends Leander Paes and Vijay Amritraj. The duo has become the first Asian to be inducted into International Tennis Hall of Fame. Paes has been included in players category, while Amritraj has been added in contributor category. More details in the story.
Indian tennis legends Leander Paes and Vijay Amritraj have entered the hallowed portals as they become the first Asian men to be honoured with the International Tennis Hall of Fame. Leander Paes, who secured his place in the player category, expressed his gratitude. Ultimate honour to be the first ever representative of India at the International Tennis Hall of Fame class of 2024. Thank you Tennis Hall of Fame for my nomination. Here's to making history. A special shout out to the entire team at Newport, Rhode Island for this honour. Paes was a stalwart in prestigious events like the Olympics, Grand Slams and Davis Cup for over 3 decades. He was considered as one of the greatest double players in history. He achieved the #1 ranking in doubles with 18 Grand Slam titles in men's doubles or mixed doubles and clinched an Olympic bronze in singles in 1996. While Amritraj was also inducted into the contributor category, the category recognizes true pioneers, visionary leaders, or individuals or groups who have made remarkable contributions to the sport. Amritraj left an indelible mark on the ATP circuit in the 1970s and the 1980s. In Davis Cup, Amritraj has guided Indian team to final appearances in 1974 and 1987. His endeavours as a promoter have significantly contributed to the popularization of tennis not only in India but also across Asia. The duo will join the elite group of 264 inductees from 27 nations, with India set to become the 28th nation represented in the Hall of Fame. Bureau Report, DD India. And Novak Djokovic and Aryna Sabalenka were honoured by the International Tennis Federation as the ITF World Champions in 2023. They are the only single players to reach at least the semi-finals at all 4 Grand Slam tournaments this season. Djokovic finished at #1 in the ATP rankings for a record-extending 8th time. He won the Australian Open, French Open and US Open and was runner-up in Wimbledon. Sabalenka received the honour for the first time after winning the Australian Open for her first Grand Slam title, finishing as the runner-up at the US Open and making it to the semi-finals at the French Open and Wimbledon.
All right, and that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.